Pruning your tomatoes can actually get you free tomatoes. Stick around. Hi everyone, welcome back to the homestead. I feel like I need to start this video with an apology. I started shooting this video a week ago and then I was interrupted by a storm, and then I shot some of it a couple of days later, and halfway through my microphone failed. So I'm going to try to do some movie magic and try to splice and dice and see how much editing I can do to this. But hopefully by the end of it, all the information will flow and you guys will get the point of this video. Believe it or not, not everybody agrees on this. Some gardeners will tell you that you should prune your tomatoes. Some gardeners will tell you that you shouldn't prune your tomatoes. Bottom line is, you should prune your tomatoes. Any leaves that are touching the ground or getting anywhere close to the ground, you want to remove those because tomato plants are very susceptible to blight or fungus. And you want to discourage that, and anything that touches the ground is going to be even more susceptible to those diseases, so you want to make sure that you're getting them off the ground. Now, here's another reason to prune your tomatoes. It's to get more tomatoes, or bigger tomatoes rather. So any tomatoes are actually pretty amazing plants because they want to multiply, and they want to multiply a lot. And the way that they do that is right in here in what I call the armpit of the stem, is where you have this little stem, you will actually get an extra little tomato plant that will try to form itself. When it does that, it's going to put all of its energy into growing those extra stems and not the energy that it needs into producing fruit for you. So you really want to remove those. Your tomatoes will fall into two main classes. They will either be Determinate, which means they are genetically determined to grow to a certain height and size, or they will be Indeterminate, which means they will just keep growing and growing under the right environment. If you have a Determinate variety, this is going to be most of what is labeled container variety. That means they are limited to a certain amount of space. A lot of your hybrid varieties are going to be Determinate. So you don't want to over prune those. If you do, you'll just end up with less fruit. So in those cases, maybe just remove the extra leaves that are touching the ground, anything that's susceptible to blight, anything that looks like it has diseases. But as far as removing any of the extra stems, maybe refrain from removing those. With an Indeterminate variety, however, you really will have to do more pruning, because if you don't, you're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of your plant food and watering into just growing beautiful vines, which is great if that's the look that you're going for, but I'm guessing your goal in growing tomatoes is to actually grow tomato fruit. So to do so, you will want to prune those back, maybe allow 1 or 2 stems to grow, but no more than that. And maybe even those not right at the beginning, perhaps a little bit later on into your tomato's life. So you really want to keep those trimmed down and pruned back. My tomato plants right now are actually looking kind of wimpy because I pruned them back quite a bit, but they're not producing a whole lot of blooms and a whole lot of fruit yet, so they really don't need a lot of leaves. To find out if your tomato plant is Determinate or Indeterminate, most of the time when you purchase it at your nursery or big box store, it'll actually say so on the tag, but if it doesn't, just do a Google search and ask if it's an Indeterminate or Determinate and you'll get your answer. When those extra stems are really small, you can just probably go ahead and snip them off with your thumbnail. But once they get to a larger size, where they get to about 2-3 inches, then you probably want to use scissors to remove those. If you don't, you're actually risking ripping off the stem or a part of the stem, which will make your plant more susceptible to diseases. So just keep that in mind. Now, I told you guys that you can actually get free tomato plants by doing this. These little extra stems right here, I can just clip off the extra leaves, leave about that much right there, and place this in either some water or in some very well hydrated soil. Keep it moist and it will actually produce new roots off of this plant, and then I have a whole other tomato plant. place this tray in the shade. I'm afraid that as young as they are, they're going to be working really hard on trying to develop roots, and I want to give them a little break from the sun. We try not to waste anything here on the homestead if we can help it, so those extra stems that I cut off the tomato plants, I'm going to go ahead and drop those in the compost bin, and I'll be doing a video on composting in the next few weeks also. Hey folks, thanks so much for coming along. I hope you got the information that you needed from this video. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, would you do so right now? In the next few days, I'll be doing a video on how to prevent some diseases, take care of some of those pests in your garden. I am getting a lot of pest pressure right now, and it is looking like it's going to be a hot, wet summer. So I'm already thinking of how I can help my tomatoes maybe fight some of that blight that they're going to be so susceptible to. You don't want to miss that. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Till then, y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.